Okay, welcome to the winner bracket final. The KD Agents against Sometimes You Win. I was honestly looking forward to this series. We've had 8 teams in the tournament. They were split into 2 groups initially. 2 teams out of each group advanced, and now in the top 4. We had some pretty darn good games, but these 2 teams clashing up against each other now in the winner bracket final should be a ton of fun, and I've really been looking forward to it. Especially given the matches that they played in the previous round from the winner bracket. We're in the Underdog Cup, of course. We're in the playoffs. We're slowly moving towards the grand final here. It's a tournament that was specifically designed to push the grassroots a little bit and to give teams that normally don't play in some of the big tournaments a chance to show their skills. The level of play is roughly between high diamond and low grandmaster. Really depends a little bit on which team is playing, but that is around the level that you're getting here. And it's been a ton of fun. It's definitely been a ton of fun. Was very happy to set this up together with HeroesLounge.gg. Currently, we have, of course, Blaze as our first pick. It's a best of 5 series. Heroes can only be played once within a series. So once played, they're unavailable for the rest of the games that are being played here. Towers of Doom has been a fairly regular map for the entire thing. And yeah, I don't know who the favorite here is, honestly. Initially, I would have leaned to the blue team, to the KD Agents, but some of the matches that Sometimes You Win have shown recently, which is absolutely bonkers. So, very curious how they're going to perform here now. Anduin and Hogger as our starting lineup for them, the first 2 picks. And it's going to be a wild one. This tournament has been so much fun so far. And I can't wait to see what they're now pulling off today. We obviously still have a lower bracket, so whoever loses here is not out automatically. So they still have a chance to make it to the grand final. Diablo and Rhaegar, which means that we now have Blaze Diablo as a combo again at the front line for them. And yeah, on top of that, still plenty available, of course. There's nothing banned out just yet. When it comes to damage, nobody has made a choice yet. We have the side laner on both teams, as is. With Anduin, you are always looking towards Genji, towards any kind of other engage. Tracer has sometimes been supplemented in when Genji wasn't available. But obviously you can play Anduin also around it. You don't really have to aim for just that. Then again, Mephisto gets banned out. Auto attackers also still plenty around. The one hero that has maybe been a little bit underplayed in a lot of cases, I would say, is Vala. She has in play, not as much as you sometimes might expect, and here she comes now. And they go for the double support. Uther might also be the main tank for them, but we now have Vala, Anduin, and Uther, so she is she is definitely going to go into an auto attack build here. We've seen mostly auto attack builds being played, sometimes, depending on the map, an arrow build too. But even on Battlefield of Eternity, auto attack build has been quite dominant, and now that they're putting 2 supports here to heal her and keep her alive, it's pretty clear that she's going straight for the Gambit Quest. And we get the Vikings again. Nice! This is, I believe, our 4th or 5th Viking game in this tournament. It's awesome. Love it. So, Vikings and Towers of Doom once more. And then our final pick. And here's where it gets interesting. Are they going to add another damage dealer? Are they going to add another frontliner? What is Uther's role going to be with this? Highly likely that we're going to get a bit more damage for them. And, well, it is Greymane. So they have even Divine Shield Greymane as a combo. And with that, we're heading into the first game of our winner bracket final between the KD Agents and Sometimes You Win. Let's go. In the first game of the series, we have the blue team on the left with Simply on Diablo. Kradodel is playing Blaze. Kani on the Vikings. This is where it's going to get really interesting here. Viking action on Towers of Doom once again. McGiblets loves to play as Rhaegar, and there he is. We have White Tiger and Chromie, but on the right side of the map, lots and lots of damage. Uther doubling as a main tank, played by Bouncy Bear. Haidunio on Vala. So he actually came into chat and let me know how the name is properly pronounced, because I've just been reading it out and apparently it's Polish. So Haidunio on Vala. We got Snowbee on Greymane. Kensei is playing Anduin. And then Padapon on Hogger. Let the games begin. Level 1 for Blaze, Endurance Stimpack, and already some action as Vala is of course hoping to lock some easy stacks in for her level 1. She has a double support behind her. They have to also watch Greymane, but Vala is going to be the priority. And the depending on where they're gonna move with her, she might also be able to get some really nice stacks against the Vikings, for example, who are oftentimes a bit unsuspecting and not immediately reacting to what's going on there. So, good chance that she will end up with a decent amount of stacks. This is just setting the pace for the rest of the winner bracket final, and it might also be... oh, that stun comp nearly connected. Yeah, it might be a bit of a glimpse of what's going to happen in the grand final. There's of course a chance that no matter who loses here, we have a rematch in the grand final between them. Depends a lot on what's happening in the lower bracket. But for now, the red team trying to go for stacks. Anduin gets hit in the back as Blaze just barrels. Oh, Bouncy Bear is not bouncing anymore. But the kill goes to Blaze. Vala gets it. 27 stacks for her. That was clutch. Uther made it out, and then Blaze gets killed. First blood for Sometimes You Win. Absolutely awesome. So now all the way up at the top, Padapon still with Hogger rotating around and just with a bit of spin to win, whereas over on the right side the camp is now being taken. The blue team is of course doing the exact same thing. And, well, that one kill didn't really mean too much yet, but they are walking away with a small lead in experience at least, so that's kind of nice. Question just simply is, can they build on that, and how is Vala going to perform as all of this continues? It's all about scaling to the late game for them right now. And they have a lot of damage. I mean, Greymane jumping in, and once that he has the bullet and can fire that against Diablo, that's also going to be pretty sweet. Simply moves forward, and now he's simply dead. Quick kill. And Anduin is the one with the final blow, and now Rhaegar gets eliminated. Sometimes You Win is on the warpath. They are coming into game number 1, not trying to just simply win the game, but they are out for a statement. And just now, it seems like it's a pretty big one. 50 stacks for Vala, that's the first quest reward being dished out. They have level 6, and the KD agents, they're a little bit overwhelmed here. Nice body blocking and additional shots fired by Vala, who is of course very happy about the easy stacking. Haidunio is doing a great job on this so far. Bit low on mana though, so needs to be careful here. But as long as they can just pepper Blaze and Diablo with more arrows, it's going to be great for them. Vala has been blown to pieces, and there's always this bit of a risk that when the game is going really well for you, that you get a bit too cocky and all of a sudden, you know, you get one shot. But so far there has been no real danger of that happening. Altars are being channeled, a couple of shots are fired, and now at the top right, that should be the moment where the red team locks in the second altar for themselves and takes a bit of a lead. Kani, yeah, is losing Balog. A little bit of a trash bag thrown over by Hogger. And that's the end of one of the Vikings. The level 7 talents kicking in. That also means we get the Wizened Duelist now for Greymane. And now it's time, once again, to try and force that team fight. The 4-man of the blue team, that is of course attempting to really dominate the lanes, has been struggling a bit. The whole idea when you're playing Vikings is that you have the Vikings soak 2 lanes and the 4-man is going strong. But up to now at least, that hasn't really been the case. We have an entire level advantage currently for Sometimes You Win, and they are absolutely running the show over here. So, Vikings in the middle, and they are once again just acting as a bit of a support tool for Vala, who gets more stacks. She's sitting at 72, and the Vikings are taken out. There's a pumpkin camp that gets claimed, but this time the red team is a little bit faster. They might not be able to steal the camp, but they're definitely able to force a fight, and that allows Vala to get even more shots. She's sitting at 78 now. So very close, or slowly getting closer, getting her second quest reward too. And yeah, it's not looking too bad. Vala has to be careful that she doesn't get killed, but they are paying attention. The double support here with the Hand of Protection on level 7. Uther makes sure that Vala is not going to get stunned out as Blaze barrels in for another jet propulsion. And they're just turning it on Diablo again. Some damage on Uther. He might actually be in trouble here, but Anduin is ready, pulls him out of harm's way. And currently, I think the blue team is starting to have some worries. Because this is not going their way whatsoever. Level 10 might change that, as usual, but Sometimes You Win is going to be the first team to hit level 10, and they are way ahead right now. So they are pushing, and they're getting aggressive. They got the bullet now Diablo's not gonna like that. One bit Greymane definitely has a target at this point. And then you have the Light Bomb, you have a Divine Shield, so you have plenty. Divine Shield is immediately out, and even with Light Bomb, yeah, not quite useful here, as Greymane was already retreating. But they didn't lose anybody. Vala has now her second quest reward, so she's sitting at 103 stacks. Wizened Duelist stacks are, of course, also slowly coming in. And this one is being stolen away. Yep. At the top, they're losing another bell tower. So, not too shabby for the KD agents. They are taking the lead on the, well, on the core points. But that bottom bell tower has taken damage. And it's a little bit surprising to me that nobody figured that out. So, could be a problem later on. If this is a close game, then they're gonna regret not locking that one altar in. So, level 10, finally available for the KD agents. No surprises with the talent choices. With Diablo, we get Apocalypse. Obviously, both ults really strong for him. Rhaegar with Ancestral. And at the bottom of the map, that's where we're going to see the next altar come in. Vala at 108 stacks now. Still slowly working the numbers there. And talking about just damage, Vala's currently sitting at 23,000. They want to go for a kill in the middle, and they get Hogger. First kill! First kill for the KD agents. They finally made it happen. Took them a bit to get started. Should have maybe chucked down a coffee or two or another energy drink before they started into the game, but currently they're starting things up again. Nice Light Bomb, Brain of Vengeance. Bunker is out, and Vala still with the attacks, but this time it is Rhaegar who saves Blaze. So yeah, they're good to go. Chromie is also receiving a couple of hits, is getting slapped around a bit. Yay! Way too excited about it too. Rumor has it she likes it that way. But with that, we have now 30,000 damage for Vala, we have 31,000 damage for Chromie. And yeah, 21,000 for Greymane. So the red team with a lot of DPS that they're pushing out here. Top side, Vikings still controlling the lane, pushing that out, and Hogga is now with the team at the bottom of the map, so he's not able to do anything about it. Vala at 132, she is working that damage, but the altars are being channeled by the blue team. And I don't know, somebody should tell Sometimes You Win that in order to take the game, you have to channel the altars. I'm not quite sure if they know that. They're just looking at this and they're like, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. They're looking for fights, they're looking for kills, and they are bringing the pain, but they're completely ignoring too many of these altars, and it's starting to become a problem. Greymane comes in, wants the kill on Diablo, gets it together with Vala. They're pushing them even further, just absolutely invading everything here. Chromie is on the run, and with the Divine Shield, Greymane comes in, takes the kill, takes the bell tower too. So they want to just build momentum so that they can dominate the game. I don't think that abandoning the altars altogether is still the best choice here, but I can see what they're going for. They're just saying, hey, an altar or two early game, what do we care about it? Screw it. We're just going ham. We're gonna take full control of the game. We're gonna take those bell towers. We got Greymane too with the extra damage against the structures, or like the big damage against structures, I should say. And therefore, we will just completely dominate this. Early game doesn't matter to us. And they come in again. Vala has by now 3 rewards to a level 1. They don't even have level 16 yet, and already Diablo is hating his life. Vala with even more connects here, no problem for her. But it's a 5 versus 3 bell tower situation, and they are starting to now work the middle bell tower. Already sending the minions in here slowly. I mean, Chromie with the Shifting Sands is still ready. And now we also have a double altar spawning at the bottom of the map, and the Vikings are starting to get into position. That could very well lead to another altar being stolen. And yep, somebody is already on the channel. And nobody is there for the interrupt. Kensei is going to be too late. That's another steal. And the red team is now down to 21 points on their core. So they are taking one of the two. It's still one level of an advantage, not more. They haven't been able to get more than that. 27 to 21 points on the core between the two teams. Still the advantage for the blue team. 16 next on the list. That will give Vala Manticore, which is of course going to boost the damage even further. Top 3 damage dealers in the game are still Chromie, Greymane and Vala in that order. Everybody else is heavily gapped. Especially for the blue team, that's a problem. They are heavily relying on Chromie, and it doesn't really seem like she can do what she needs to in order to get them the kills that are necessary here. Maybe with level 16 stun on the Vikings, they're able to engage a little bit more aggressively into the red team and try and get a stun combo going that allows Chromie to fire out all the damage. Here comes the APOC again. They were trying to go for the top, and Horga is just simply spinning out. It was the second attempt to take him on. No luck there. Oh, but that's an easy kill on Rhaegar. The ult wasn't even needed on the side of Anduin. He was going straight for the light bomb. That wasn't needed at all. And now they're just simply jumping on the boss. Again, Greymane plus Vala. Absolutely amazing to take down a boss like this. Level 16 talents, that gives us a lot of his pack. And in addition, we get Manticore. This is going to hurt. Also, with all of that support behind them, Greymane is sitting at 25 stacks now on the Wizened Duelist. They're doing an insane amount of damage here. And the bell tower at the bottom left gets recovered. Triple altar phase is now starting. 16 versus 16. This is where things start to become quite interesting, because this is one of those opportunities where the KD agents could actually try and bring the game back. And they got to use some of them. They can't just simply sit there the entire time and wait for a later stage of the game. It's 23 to 21 points on the core now, so it is fairly close. Shots are slowly being fired though. One for each team. Vikings are taking the top left, and now it's just a question of who takes the top right. We could see a big fight over this breaking out. There's only 2-point difference between the two teams as is, but still 4 points up for grabs right here. And Kensei is the one who's going to attempt the channel. Gets interrupted. Horga, though, makes it through. That's 4 more shots fired against the blue team. Olaf down. Vala with more stacks. She is able to also take down the doggy. That's the end of Rhaegar. The Vikings come back in again. Immediately jump away. They're trying to get the stun and do, but that's just not enough to stop Horga. And there's the kill on Chromie. Uther died in the meantime. Is just ghosting around right now. But that's all there is to it. Chromie eliminated, 9 kills to 2, and the chance to go straight for that top bell tower converted over. 15 points to 17. It's the first time that sometimes you win as actually the lead on the core points. And after that last fight, we now have 50,000 damage for Greymane, 65,000 for Chromie. But look at them going ham here. Down goes Diablo. The bell tower is also taken. Blaze is dead. Greymane actually completes his quest. Is fully done here with Wizened Duelist. The damage is getting insane. Vala is about to hit her 4th quest reward. They have 11 kills to 2, and they are on an absolute tear. These guys are not joking around. No prisoners taken in this first game of the best of 5 series at the winner bracket final. They're trying for the next Viking, who gets valiantly protected, I have to say. So, yeah, Viking lives matter, and the blue team agrees and throws everything that they have in regards to heals onto the Vikings, just short of dropping in an ancestral healing on them. So, with that, we now have, of course, immediately the chance for them to maybe even take another bell tower. They're already pushing, they're half a level away from 20. They're going for a few additional camps now, and they take the pumpkins. So, that allows them more pressure. Altar is spawning. That's 5 potential shots fired against the KD agents. And Anduin gets stunned down by Olaf, who is able to escape. The fight not over yet, but the rest of the Vikings is still sitting up at the top. So they're trying to interrupt, not able to do it this time, which means Anduin gets the channel. That's 5 shots fired. And still half a level until 20 hits for Sometimes You Win, which is going to make their comp even more deadly. The fact alone that Vala is going to have more range afterwards is just nuts. And talking about Vala, here come the shots, and she is soon going to be fully stacked. She's sitting at 200 stacks right now. Vala is bringing the pain. Vikings, no chance. Diablo wants to escape into the bunker again. I'd be scared too if I would face up against this many auto attackers that are just trying to rip my heart out. So, not too shabby. Yeah, 71,000 damage now for Greymane. He's turning into an absolute beast. Uther down, and so is Blaze, but Uther has redemption, so he's going to be back. Chromie is gone, the Vikings are all dead or dying, and there's another nice stun from Vala with the Rain of Vengeance, so they're going for Diablo. The stun comp is hitting hard, and he goes down too. And this time, he's down for the count. They're going for the bell tower at the bottom of the map. They want the full barrage, as it seems. only the one in the middle is still standing, and they have Rhaegar and a few Vikings against them. This is a perfect opportunity to start to end the game here. What a showing, what a statement by Sometimes You Win. Fabulous play from them, looking really strong here. The Vikings are desperately attempting to retake the bell tower at the top, and they're getting close. Rhaegar gets... No, he doesn't get wrecked. Instead, Greymane nearly was killed. And the Vikings to the rescue. The Vikings, they pay a hefty price, but they survive. So now the barrage has stopped. Only one shot was fired during it. But there's another altar at the bottom of the map, and it can be claimed now that 6 additional shots fired against the KD agents. And that means they're going to be down to 3 points on the core. Boss is back up, and that will be potentially the next target. The Vikings are gone. It is a 5 versus 4, and they're already on it. They got everything they need here. Divine Shield will be up in just another second. Light Bomb is ready, so is the Shockwave on Hoggar's side. This is looking great for them. They're starting to stun out Blaze. He's in trouble. The APOC comes down. Boss still not fully taken. And here goes Greymane. Greymane, Blaze, both eliminated. The boss is about to die, and they're trying to get their game going here. They're trying to end it all. Game number 1 is on the line as Vala is getting the auto attacks connected with Diablo and takes him down. And that's the death of Gromy. Everybody is dead. And this is game. Sometimes You Win with a big victory in game number 1 of the best of 5 series. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Quite the statement from Sometimes You Win. They crushed through that first game. The draft just didn't work out for their opponents, the KD agents. They couldn't really get the Viking comp going. Now we're heading into Battlefield of Eternity as our second map, and it should be a good one. Obviously, the blue team has to change things up a bit. Quick reminder, the 10 heroes that were just played cannot be played again. So they are now off limits. They cannot be locked in, but there's still plenty to go around. Now, Vala and Greymane have obviously already been played, and they are usually 2 of the heroes that you like to play on Battlefield of Eternity because of the damage they do against the Immortal. Other heroes that we oftentimes see here would also include Li Ming and Hanzo, but we have seen teams also focus very aggressively on just team compositions that aren't necessarily designed to do damage against the Immortal, but more so trying to just simply kill the opponent's teams. Medivh gets banned once again. I would personally not be shocked if during this series at some point we're also going to get to see Sergeant Hammer again, so that's another one. But right now, Garrosh is the first one that gets banned on the side of Sometimes You Win. And well, talking about Sergeant Hammer, it seems like we're not going to get to see her in this particular game because the KD agents, they agree with me and they're like, you know what, Hammer, how about we just ban her out? Let's not deal with that here. So, good call, good ban. But yeah, Hanzo is still up. Some teams have also gone for the liability, aka Trash Tannis. I doubt a bit that we're going to get to see that here though. But time will tell. Mirrodin is banned, and that sets us up for our first picks here. But the KD, and there's Li Ming. Obviously high priority, as I said. Her and Hanzo are going to be the 2 that teams will likely address first. We get a Haka, and normally you would expect a Hanzo pick here. But then again, there's a lot of preference picks for the team, so they might decide to go into something different. But if your goal is to just go for the Immortal here, he is obviously fantastic. And then in addition, didn't see that coming. In addition to that, you also have a lot of vision that comes with him and the arrow that sets things up after level 10. But Ana is really a pick that I did not see coming, especially not with this priority here. So, what are they going to try and do with Ana right now? On the one hand, you can argue they might have tried to pick her also away from Li Ming, but you normally don't just pick a hero simply because you want to pick it away. You also have to add just something for yourself. If you just try to destroy your opponent's composition, you're going to end up with some really patchwork stuff that is just not going to work. So they have a different idea here. Is Mephisto going to be played by them? What are they going to boost with Ana so that they're getting a lot of value out of this? On the blue team side, Lucio now for heals from Giblets, and we have Anubrak played by Simply, so they can already start to dive in with him. And talking about diving, Chen gets banned out too, so they're not going to get Fat Illidan to support Anubrak at the front. And then the barrel play, obviously, later on. Could also get a triple front line. There's still a couple of side laners that would really work nicely here. But I'm still eyeing Ana, and I want to see what their game plan is. Because yes, you picked her away from Li Ming. Good news. But what exactly is the combo that you yourself are looking for? I mean, technically, they could even go for something a little bit on the nasty side, like throwing in Mephisto, for example. If you want to play a triple frontline, then Dehaka, Mephisto, and the main tank could be a thing. There's some really fun stuff that you can pull off in the occasional game, or if you are trying this in quick match, or some lower league plays, it also works. Is when you go for Uther, Ana, and then Mephisto, and you just give him a Divine Shield, boost him, and then go full area of effect on Infernal Shrines and rip everything apart. But in this case, they're going down a different road, and they have Tyrael now plus Reyna. So Jimmy, clearly with Exterminator in mind, gonna try and go for the Immortal. Tyrael, also an interesting pick. They seem to also be role-swapping things a lot. Because if Haidunio is now playing Tyrael, then that means that he just swaps from Vala over into a tank position. We get Arthas and Genji for the KD agents. So the front line, Anubrak for a bit of diving and stuns, Arthas to follow up with a Howling Blast. They could also go for Syndragosa here to make those pushes a bit more effective. But I still need another good damage dealer and something where Ana can benefit the team a lot. And we get Thrall. Nano boosted Thrall with maybe even Trash Lightning. Time will tell. Battlefield of Eternity is our second map. Let's go. The second game of the series. We start things on Battlefield of Eternity with Simply on Anubura, Kikani on Li Ming. We got McGiblets on Lucio, Kratadel on Arthas, and White Tiger is playing Genji. The red team, obviously in the lead. Sometimes you win. They won the first map, and now we have Haidunio on Jimmy with Exterminator, so he really switched after the draft back into DPS, Bouncy Bears on Tyrael. And here's actually Crash Lightning. So we get Trash Lightning, so the nano boost on Trash Lightning for Thrall. If he's able to stack this and then gets boosted by Ana, this is going to be pretty big. Snowbee on the hero, Kensei on Ana, and Patapon on Dehaka. As down at the bottom of the map, we already have the party slowly starting up. Thrall is of course going to try to stay in the foreman as long as he can. It will be Dehaka at the top, and it's all about getting the stacks together for Thrall. The nice thing about Trash Lightning is that the main damage, the main purpose of the talent obviously comes after you fully stack it and you get your main reward. The prioritization is just absolutely amazing, but it's not one of those talents where until then you don't get anything. You are in a situation where every single stack that you get is going to increase that damage, and this is quite nice for Thrall as he starts to rack up the points. He gets more damage in, makes also any support that he's going to get from Ana later on more useful. But the real power spike is when he completes the quest, because at that point you can just attack anything that is within range, and the bounces will automatically go to the heroes, and therefore your damage is just going to skyrocket. You can poke them into oblivion. It is kind of ridiculous. So he's going to do his best. Blue team's job is going to be to actually split out. And I want to highlight one thing real quickly, which in a lot of games obviously is nothing unusual, but we have an actual 4-1 split. I wouldn't mention this in any other context, but that we just talked about it throughout the tournament, that most teams have gone for the 2-3 split here. And this is one of the first times that we actually have a proper 4-1 split on Battlefield of Eternity. Anubarak is the first one to fall after Dehaka was able to get a tongue connected, so first blood goes to Sometimes You Win. Thrall is trying to work his stacks. Normally when the objective is up and you're starting to have these fights where there's no minions to soak up any of the bounces, it's even easier for him to get those stacks together, always assuming that it's a bit of a drawn-out fight and not just a simply all-out brawl that ends with quick kills. But he's sitting now on 4 stacks, so 5 stacks, slowly getting the points together here, and they're working that wall. So they're getting good damage in on that wall. Everybody is also still stacking and clustering up on the blue team side, which makes it easy for Green Jesus, sitting at 5 right now. Bit of a leading experience, nothing crazy, but hey, it all adds up over time. And while Arthas is still fighting Dehaka at the top, the teams have now started to split over towards their camp to get some mercenaries going as all of this plays out. For example, here over on the left side, the blue team already nearly done. Kani needs to head back to get some mana. And Thrall has actually not started to stack on level 4, but instead went straight for the Feral Resilience here. So no Frostwolf pack on level 4 for him. Doesn't come as a shock that we get Exterminator for our boy Jimmy. And he should dominate the first objective. Jimmy usually is fantastic, especially on the earlier objectives. Vala, for example, needs to get online first with her Monster Hunter at level 7 when she's picked in a similar scenario, and that always means that Immortal number 2 is where she really excels. But here comes the next kill. They're taking Arthas down. Oh, but a beautiful engage here. Nicely done. Ana is gone. That flank hit hard. And that's the end of Tyrael. That was pretty sweet. Really nice little play there by them. So they come in from the side. They insta blow up Ana, chase the rest of the team. It ends up with Tyrael dying shortly after that. But that was extremely well traded after they initially lost Arthur. So a quick reaction from the KD agents. They're definitely not a pushover team. These guys are going to fight back throughout all of it. But sometimes you win. They still are doing a stellar job here. They have lost the halftime show though. But Thrall keeps stacking. He's trying his best here. Always simply moving a bit away from the rest of the team, really trying to ensure that Thrall is not gonna get any easy stacks here. He's sitting at 7, which isn't horrible or anything, but he's not gonna get the super easy stacks that you oftentimes would expect. So, yep, everybody is starting to cluster again. That's another easy stack for Thrall. He's now sitting at 8. Nice start! Sleep dart into a stun. Lucio gets hit. It doesn't matter too much. The halftime show is not the only thing that the blue team was able to win. They are able to get the first objective. And apparently Bouncy Bear needed to pause the game so they can lick their wounds a little bit. Honestly, with Snowbee currently trying to hearth back, there might be a chance that somebody dropped. Because that seems like a bit of a strange hearth. Not that you're trying to get back to replenish your mana. That in and of itself is not really a shocker. The position seems a bit ambitious on the other hand. Because you're just inside of the blue team. Unless he really thought he could get away with this. But either way, level 7 talents have now kicked in, which means that we get Swift Retribution on the side of Tyrael, which is of course quite nice for our range damage dealer, for Jimmy. And Thrall is sitting at 8 stacks, and I do not like this level 7 talent. Follow through, in my personal opinion, is just pretty shit with this build in particular. I really don't like it, not because the talent doesn't add anything, but you have such a great talent with Ancestral Wrath on level 7 that giving up on that seems silly. It is a nuke, it is a heal, it is just absolutely amazing. And it is very easy to use, just click and point. Whereas you need really good mechanics to get proper value out of follow through. And you don't have the level 1 talent where it gives you a second lightning charge. If you have the second one, then you can double the amount of abilities that you throw out and gain more value with it. But I really don't like that level 7 talent. I've been talking about this in the past. I've actually also talked to a couple of pros back in the HGC days about it, and they essentially all agreed. This is a talent that, in theory, can give you a lot, but you need to have nearly perfect mechanics for it, and it's just not worth it. So, heavily disagree with that choice. He will still be able to do a lot of damage. Jimmy, not so much, because he got too ambitious at the top, thought he could take the camp, now they lose the camp and they lose Jimmy. So the blue team is making some very nice moves now, and I have, for now, taken the lead in experience. And Arthas detects what's going on down at the bottom of the map, but he can't steal this away. At the top, they're coming in for an attack against Thrall, and the best way to stop someone from stacking is still to kill them, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Genji comes in, gets the kill and the reset that saves his butt, and now they go for the fort. KD agents, ladies and gentlemen, they're fighting back, they're coming in here with a vengeance. These guys are out for blood now, after they lost game number 1. Thrall with 12 stacks. He is sitting at 13,000 damage. Still a bit behind compared with Jimmy and with Liming, but that can change as things continue. So Thrall already getting some competitive numbers here. Level 10 abilities for the KD agents. And no surprises. Here I already called Syndragosa as a tool during the draft. With Arthas not being the main tank, that just makes sense for them. They're going to try and be more aggressive around Immortal pushers. Syndragosa is going to help them with that. They don't need the survivability for him. They already have a Death Coil build going for Arthas as well. And then, of course, you look over to Li Ming. Wave of Force makes the most sense here, too. Question is just simply, what is sometimes you win are going to do? We get Earthquake for Thrall. We have also Nano Boost, and we get Sanctification. So, stage is set for Immortal Fight number 2. Thrall wants some stacks. He's trying to hit them. Gets another stack quite easily. The Haka is already coming in from the side. They're really chasing them hard now. Ult has been used. And Nano Boost, I believe, hit Tyrael. Yeah, and a Nano boosted Tyrael in that fight. The Haka also was able to connect his isolation with Arthur's, but that didn't help them. Here comes the engage from the blue team. Now Earthquake gets used. Syndragosa. And a fantastic Sanctification from Tyrael. There goes Anna after Nubarak gets killed. The chase is still on. Thrall about to fall. That Sway's level 7 would have been really useful, by the way, but they're losing everybody. This is a perfect situation where he would have actually benefited very heavily from having his Ancestral Wrath. And instead what happens is that Thrall dies, they're getting chased fully. But if they would have been able to turn it on Genji, for example, that would have been the play. 7 kills to 4. Blue team is in the driver's seat. They're making the plays now. Thrall is sitting at 15 stacks, so he is working those stacks in. He's halfway done with the quest, but they're starting to fall a bit behind here, and it is a bit worrisome to think that they might now face off against such a big shield from the KD agents. And Jimmy, while doing a lot of damage, hasn't been able to dominate on the objective as they probably expected. Now they're really low in hit points. They have to force the fight again, and they try to push the opponent away here. The Haka pops the essence, stunned once, twice, slowed, tries to tunnel away here. Not out of harm's way, and there's the reset for Li Ming as she comes in. Once again, Nano Boost on Tyrael, by the way. Not hitting Thrall here just yet, but the Cocoon does. Thrall gets hit by the Cocoon, and I think he's dead again. Gets stunned, and he's, yeah, just has no chance here. He's also not the only one that dies. Tyrael gets murdered as well, so he's now gone. Thrall at least got 2 stacks out of this, but they need a bit more than him just getting 2 measly stacks here. Li Ming is having a field day with this game. She's sitting at 35,000 damage. Heaps and bounds ahead of anyone else. 24,000 as the top damage dealer for Jimmy on the red team side. But that's just another 4 gone, and therefore the second one that gets eliminated. Easy kills. And to make matters worse, the level 13 talent is now also ready for the blue team. So that gives Li Ming Illusionist, and Nubarak has the Burning Beetles, whereas Arthur's went for Frost Strike. And they get another kill. They come in, take Jimmy down. The lack of escape tools is now coming back to bite him. This could be an utter disaster. They're just losing everything. The Sanctification of Tyrael just saved them a second ago. Once again, Anna with the support for the frontliner. The Haka is gone, and this is still a 5 versus 3 now. The keep will 100% fall, and from the looks of it, the core is at least going to take some damage. It might get worse. They are pushing, but Lucio is low, Genji is low. Going for the win would be a bit much. That would be gambling a lot. So instead, they're heading back. Core is not taking any damage. The wind-up on the animation was just a little bit too long. Thrall is now on 20 stacks. As I said before, if he's able to complete it, they can do a lot with him. But as of now, that's just not the case. Level 13 talents are kicking in for them, so at least they're drawing even in talents with the opponent. And this could be a long and drawn out one. Also, again, quick reminder, HeroesLounge.gg, guys. This tournament is for all the Division 2 and Division 3 teams, but you can also participate in Heroes Lounge. It is the biggest amateur scene in Heroes of the Storm, by far. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to play with like-minded people on your level, if you want to theorycraft a little bit and just escape that general shit show that the normal in-game league is, then make sure to check them out. They have all the information on the website. You can sign up directly over there. Costs you nothing. You can do it if you're from NA as well. They actually have several NA players that are playing in Heroes Lounge as well. They got a Discord server where they can answer all of your questions. It's also linked on the main website. But if you've seen any of the games here on the channel, you have heard me speak about them in the past. They're organizing this tournament with me, and it's just a completely different way to experience the game. So if you want to rediscover your passion for Heroes of the Storm a bit, doesn't matter if you're in Wood League or Grandmaster, then make sure to check them out. HeroesLounge.gg, as I said before, and yeah, might be you who plays in one of these next tournaments here. 16, just around the corner for the KD Agents, by the way. So we now have another talent coming up for them. Probably delay that fight a little bit, but they don't want to lose their camp. They use Cocoon to grab it away from Tyrael, and it worked perfectly for them. So yeah, nice touch. And here's the level 16 talent, which gives us epic ender for Anubarak. Nice sanctification again from Tyrael, but Ana is dead in the backline. Has now nanoed Dehaka. I think the only one that hasn't gotten a nano boost so far is Thrall, who I initially thought would be the one that gets at least 1 or 2. But that's the end of Jimmy and Dehaka. And sometimes you win, they are not able to do anything here. The KD Agents are playing a completely different game right now. If you compare this to the first map that we saw between the teams, it is night and day. Thrall gets murdered, the Ragdoll gets kicked around by a couple of screens, and now the blue team is just going for victory here. They got mad after losing game number 1 apparently, so they're just on the warpath and they are taking the red team down, leaving them absolutely no chance. They're going through them like hot butter through cheese, and it is a beatdown. We are heading into game number 3 with a tie in the series here in the winner bracket final. Nicely done, GG. Well played. Game number 3. So we got a tie. The KD Agents, they got a bit angry and they bullied the red team. So yeah, good for them. Great moves. And now we're heading into our third map of the best of 5 series, Volskaya Foundry. Not really my favorite map, but after we saw 2 firework games, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get another one. Medivh gets banned. Now, on the one hand, I really like that they did their research and they're just banning out what the opponent is really good with. On the other hand, I have to say, I would love a good Medivh game right now. Stitches gets banned too. Apparently no Gorge shenanigans today. 20 heroes have now been played since we just entered game number 3, which means that those 20 heroes can't be played anymore. So teams have to dig a little bit deeper in their bag of tricks in order to get ahead here. Which is kind of nice. We still have enough around. I mean, Hanzo hasn't been played, Junkrat hasn't been played, just to name a couple of the real popular damage picks that we can get. And we have still plenty of majors to go around here. Kel'Thas, Skul'dan. Kel'Thas someone that here on this level we've seen now a few times. Mephisto also technically available, but now banned, at least for this map. So, should still be a fairly entertaining draft that we're going to get from them here. And I also want to remind everybody that we had some wonky picks in some of the previous matches. Gazlo that gets busted out all of a sudden. So, yeah, there could be some cool stuff still. But, what are we opening up with? The KD Agents, they go for the Fruit Fly. Brightwing is coming in, looking for friends again. Never able to find any. And the insta picks on ETC and Falstad. Yeah, that's the moment where you also have to ask yourself how you're playing ETC, if it's going to be some stage dive play or what they're going to look for. And then in addition to that, if you go for a mosh pit and you all of a sudden land that mosh, make sure that Falstad is not triggering his gust at the same time, or you're going to be in for a scolding. Tracer, I like it. So finally we're going to get Tracer from White Tiger and Muradin. The Candy King is back. Got even banned earlier on the 3rd position, but now Muradin, Brightwing, Tracer to start the draft off with. Yeah, Muradin definitely tanky enough to also hold the point on Volskaya. Damage dealers outside of these 2 that we already have. That's going to be interesting. We have the Global, of course, also. It's a bigger map, so you can play around that. Brightwing can still use her abilities to come in, but not quite the same wave clear, so if she's trying to hold the side lanes, a little bit different. It's a good ban. Nazeebo being banned on a map that usually lasts a bit longer is not a bad thought. Nazeebo excels in the late game once that he gets his viral infection. Then again, we're likely also, well, we might get Tomb of the Spider Queen later. And if we do, Nazeebo would be a prime candidate to be played as well. So, final ban for game number 3. Bit hesitant on this one. And Zagara gets the axe. Okay. We might still get a Zerg Queen in the game, but it's not going to be a Zagara. What about Kerrigan? Are they going to try and get her in at some point? For now, it's Tychus. The Renegade is in, and here comes Oriel. Very, very popular throughout the tournament. So we need a side laner for them. That's one thing that they're still missing. They have, with ETC, their front line. They could also use them as a side laner. Again, always that little caveat, but a bit unlikely. And for the blue team, same rules. I mean, they need a side laner too. Muradin can't hold that front line by himself. Now that damage dealer could be melee. They go for Leo on the side. And Sylvanas is in the house as well. Oh, the Schallsweffer. I like it. Always the janitor. Yeah, janitor skin. And there's Gazlo. Told you, Gazlo is in the house. So they're going for the Gazlo side lane. Game number 3, Volskaya Foundry. Let's head straight into the third game of the best of 5. The third map of the series, Volskaya. And we start things off on the left in blue with Muradin, played by Simply. We got Kani on Sylvanas, Kratodel on Leoric, Mekiblitz on Brightwing, and White Tiger is playing Tracer. On the right side of the map, coming from a loss in game number 2, we have Padapon now on Gazlo with Rocket Boots on level 1, Kensei on Oriel, Haidunio on Tychus, going for the grenade build, Bouncy Bear on ETC, and Snowbee is playing Falstad. So, let's go. Who is going to claim it? The lead in the best of 5. Everybody on the red team side is trying to figure out where Sylvanas is going to attack. So far, the answer is, well, nowhere. So, they didn't go for an aggressive Sylvanas play here and then just went into the mid lane. Ready for a 5-man battle that didn't actually play out. Would have been kind of nice though. That Sylvanas push on the side is obviously always quite a bit of fun. Muradin. Careful, Budget Gimli. Careful, careful, careful. So, that nearly cost him his life here. Items are going to spawn in a couple of seconds, and then we're likely going to see some of the team start to make a play for them. Question that, of course, remains at first is always who's going to make the initial move to go straight for the healing beacon here. And who will just simply go for the remaining ones over on the sides. And Tracer is already working on it. They want to get the turret here, so she's already on the way. But over on the right side, Falstad is getting some company from Gazlo. The two of them are going to start to make the moves. As up at the top, the push is now still happening. So Sylvanas, other hoodie girl, is still trying to make some moves here and destroy a couple of structures while everybody else is distracted. So they're slowly going in for that. And, well, each team with a turret. But Muradin is already guarding their healing beacon, so they're going to keep an eye on that to figure out how this is all going to work out for them. Who's going to be the first one to move in? Is there maybe a window where they can make the move and play to grab the first healing beacon of the game? Slide against Muradin. Lots of damage, and he's out. Muradin gets out, and Gazlo with the easy peasy dimensional ripper. I want the clams. Give me that Rogo Goblin and go hard. Speed medal for ETC. So this is actually going to be a pretty fun one. That speed bonus is kind of cool if you are the one chasing. I guess if you're running away, that's also something that can help you out a lot. But I'm just imagining a sped up Gazlo that is trying to catch everyone with the clamps. And comes in and hits it hard. So, 0 kills so far in the game. Leo now up against the Goblin at the bottom of the map, whereas Oriel is just whipping things around here. We have Tychus dancing around on his little happy cloud. On level 4 he went into Master Assassin. I still want to get my auto attack built. We might have to host a tournament for the Korean scene at some point again in order to get that going. And yeah, some cams are still up. The red team has decided that it is time to make a play for the actual healing beacon, as the objective pops up first. Oh, nice damage. That's this done. ETC, and that's a kill. ETC, oh, he's gone. Tracer with a move, but they got the item. Everybody dropped their turret, so now the only item that we have in play is the healing beacon on Gazlo, who's still dropping a few turrets here the entire time. Nobody is dealing with the objective, by the way. Nobody cares. Everybody's just like, yeah, whatever. It's not really important, not really interesting, and for good reasons. Screw the Protector. Yeah, White Tiger dancing away from the potential damage that he could have received a second ago. That would have been fun for Falstad, not so much for Tracer. Would likely not have led to a kill, but hey, still. So a couple of progress points are still there. We'll slowly get them. Level 7 is also ready. That gives us the Master Blaster for Gazlo. And yeah, he's just turning it up the entire time. Minion after minion being eliminated here. Everybody is slowly starting to get ready for the next few team fights. I love how Diablo is also just riding around on his little soap bar here. So he's really just trying to take out the trash here. And yeah, next camp already claimed, and therefore also the turrets. All about the items right now. Get a bit of an advantage over your opponent by just add additional items. The healing beacon will be pretty big during the team fights if used properly. So that is already a thing. And then on top of that, we're still looking at a situation in which is a question on who is going for the Protector, how is it going to be used in the first place, who's making the big play there. Currently, it's just a bit of a stalemate, and they're also trying to set the sprays up, I suppose. So, yep, it's spray time right now. But still the question, who is gonna get the next kill? Only one kill so far. That's all that we got for now. But the attacks, they keep coming. Oh, and Muradin already jumping out here. Leaving control to the team in red. Now, to be fair, they've just now taken control, whereas the blue team has already accumulated 99%. So there's still a bit of time and wiggle room to work with. The small attacks that we have against heroes like Falstad, with the little gank squad that the blue team is fielding, have so far been unsuccessful outside of the one kill that they got early on in all of this. But at the bottom of the map, Leoric is now completely unmolested, while everyone else is fighting up at the top, which means that he gets some easy damage in. Level 10 abilities are ready. There's a small window, but that might actually be enough for the blue team to get themselves the first Protector. They go quickly onto the point, and yep, that's it. Protector is in. They have mind control, and for the red team, it just didn't work out. They had to fall back here because they didn't want to fight against the heroic abilities, and that was just a little bit too much. Tiny window, but it was enough. Now we have the ults on both sides. It gives us the Aegis again, and also the Gravel Bomb for Gazlo. Yeah, Protector's already taking some damage. Falstad is now flying towards the top as Sylvanas has been starting to push. And here goes Leoric. That's exactly the problem. You have the Protector there, but the heroes beside him are oftentimes fairly vulnerable. Tracer and Muradin in here, and they got the wall. First one is obviously the weakest by far. Not sure what Tychus was thinking. They are trying to keep him alive with Aegis. There's the party, and they actually save Tychus. The problem is that they're not saving Oriel. That was a well-timed poly from Brightwing, and Tychus dies a moment later too. So yeah, that backfired very quickly on them. They lose 2 of their heroes. Blue team is a little bit stuck here, but they're still going to be able to make it out. But that was quite funny. First the Mosh, then the Entomb is out. The poly and kill on Oriel just before she's able to get another heal through, and then they add the second kill on Tychus, drop him as well. 3 kills to 1 now in total. Even Gazlo is being followed, and he survives barely. 20 hit points. 23 hit points for him. He was also the one holding the item. So, yep. There's some nasty stuff right now. But, well, in the meantime, we currently have Falstad topside. Falstad is actually going to be the one that will be fairly interesting, because the reason for that is actually that in this case, he is the one as a global that can help them to control the side lanes as the game opens up a little bit. Once that we have a few of those, things destroyed. And with things, I actually mean at this point, once that we're having a couple of those forts out of play. But right now, we're not quite there yet. Gus is already in, alright, they are saving Oriel again. That's always a bit of a dangerous one here. Oriel is able to make it out. But the fight still continues. Grab a bomb! And they don't get the kill, or do they? No, Sylvanas makes it out. Leo is still active at the bottom of the map. The fort is gone on the bot lane. So the KD agents with a level 13 talent have now a half-level lead on top of that too. And the party just continues over here. So they are doing a lot of work. Leo is pushing and pushing and pushing. Even though he's met with Falstad now, they are still getting a lot of value out of this. After the KD agents lost the first map, they are starting to do much better here now. So this is actually looking pretty decent for them. Tracer is chasing everybody and is slowly doing a thing. Nice move with the Mosh though. The fruit fly gets caught. ETC acting as a bit of a honey trap for Brightwing, and it's a kill. It's only the second kill for the red team, but that one was great. Not only because it was Brightwing, because also without the healer, that makes things a lot more difficult for them. So yeah, good news. Quest is also completed for ETC. That is going to give them some more sustain power throughout all of this. The Drain build continues on Leoric's side, who went now into Unyielding Despair on level 13. But Muradin and the rest of the team, they plucked the bird at the bottom of the map. And with Falstad out, that means there's chicken for dinner once again. So, one level advantage for the blue team. Still looking for kills here. Their opponents, though, not getting lazy either. Objective is up. Nobody has gone for it yet. We might soon see a change there. The damage output we have as the top damage dealer Tracer. Doesn't really come as a shock considering how she's been playing. 32,000 and now 27,000 for Tychus. The Renegade top damage on his side as Leo is just mindlessly pushing that bot lane. Continuous pressure there. Mind control, Oriel, and the healing beacon on the ground. Items are getting dropped quickly by the teams. Leo's coming in, where's that entombment he needed? Didn't drop it. Ghast is being used as well, but Sylvanas is still able to jump onto the wave and very quickly jumps out. 16 starts to kick in, so that big lead in experience is now translating into a tangible advantage again for the KD agents. I mean, who's going to get the lead in this series again? Blue team, they're looking okay. Aegis is already out. Sylvanas comes in. They're trying for ETC. And this looks great. But then the grabber bomb. Mind control. And ETC is gone. Ooh, gets dropped down here. I'm not quite sure what is there outside of that mech. But yeah, ETC got dropped like far. So this is apparently the trash disposal system that we have on Volskaya. And ETC just got chunked down. But at the bot lane, now we also have the wall destroyed slowly. Second objective, as I already mentioned earlier, nobody really cares about it. Nobody has made a move for it at any point. Oh, that Stormbolt missing sucks. That would have been a kill. Gazlo is able to survive. They are moving away. If he falls, I think they get the key. But yeah, the Stormbolt misses. They don't get the Gazlo kill. So there's enough defenders. And then Forster comes, of course, in with that added gust. And they got the retreat. And now it's level 16 versus level 16. Now, a few items are still up for grabs. And they're making their place for it. Leo has now moved towards the top lane. He's actually slowly going for the objective as well. He's obviously one that can easily escape there too. Red team is moving towards that direction, but they're not really interested in the objective itself. They're way more interested in getting another healing beacon for themselves. So this is the next one that gets attacked here and claimed. So healing beacon is in. Quick Stormbolt towards the face of ETC. And Sylvanas is going for the camp over on the left side. Damage output, we have Tracer still top damage in the game. Tychus is coming in second with a 10k gap. And then you have Sylvanas on 26,000. Actually, Falstad is ahead of her with a 31k. And Tracer's everywhere. I mean, she's all over the place right now. Just trying to annoy them as best as she can. We have now on the checkpoint 90%. Seems like it's a freebie for Leoric at the top. The red team isn't even trying to contest this in any way, shape, or form. They're just saying like, yeah, well, whatever. Take it. We don't care. Couldn't care less. Protector, if you want one, just get one. We don't want it. If you think it's a good idea, then hey, let's go for it. Which tells you, which is all that you need to know about this map. Mind control misses, but this is literally all that you need to know about Volskaya Foundry. That the red team doesn't even care. They don't go for the objective. They're like, nah,
meh. And it's already fairly low, down to 66%. I don't even know where they're trying to go with it. It seems like they're trying to go for the bottom keep. I mean, fine. It's actually funny because everybody else is at the top. This is a 4 versus 3. I don't know why the red team doesn't send anybody down to help ETC defend. He's the only one at this point. So even if that was just heroes walking in here, why would you sacrifice your keep like that? For some reason they were like, okay, we don't care, we're just dealing with the heroes at the top lane. So the keep is gone. Seems like the protector wants to see the world. That's what's happening here. And there's finally some dancing. Nice. A couple of dancing moves that we're getting, but unfortunately not from the dancing. Oh, look at that. Some moves. Oh my god. Those hips don't lie. Somebody called Shakira. Woof. I'm getting all sweaty over here. Level 20 talents ready any second.
A little bit more damage here in the middle. But there's the mosh and the kill on Tracer. Neat. Tracer down. That was an important kill for the red team. And also it comes at a very, very nice time. Because that just means that you find yourself in a spot now where you have an opportunity to, well, catch up in experience a little bit. It's a 5 versus 4. So it's kind of all that you need to do. Catch up a little bit, try and get to level 20, make your play with that. Already we got the push through the middle. If they now can get a 4-2, that would be a great step towards them drawing even with the blue team, because up to now the blue team has made most of the big moves here. So the fort is gone. That's already fantastic news for them. It's another 20 seconds until Tracer is back. Sure, she was really hit at exactly the wrong moment. Kind of noteworthy, by the way, we have Burning Despair on the side of Leoric. Should at least point that out, so he didn't go for the upgrade on his Entomb. And by now, they have to slowly start retreating again. I mean, Tracer is back in a couple of seconds, and there's a couple of additional camps that they can take in the meantime. But the point still is, of course, that right now, it's all about them getting level 20. Want to make sure that you get level 20, and then you can make your play. There's still a few more things that they can quickly grab here, which is exactly what they're currently starting to do. And already we're having the big fight with the Entomb locked in. No 20s yet for the red team. They lose Gaslo, but at least they killed Leo. ETC slides in and gets killed mid-slide. He had his 20 ready at the time, so allows them maybe to get a counter kill. Not quite, but at least they forced them back. So they got their Storm Talons in the middle of the battle, and he picked extremely quickly, but they would have definitely preferred that fight to happen just a few seconds later when they had a chance to properly pick and maybe coordinate all of this. Tigers hasn't even Tigers hasn't picked yet, and I don't understand why. He should be the first one that locks it in, but he takes Brightwing down. That's good. Brightwing is gone. They might get another kill here. Tigers low, gets the heal, tries to turn it, and gets blown to smithereens. Tracer is still on the run, but gets murdered by the camp. Tracer gets killed by the camp. Now they go for Oriel. She's dead too, and so is Leo. Leo's eliminated. Everybody is starting to jump in again, and that is the bird gone. It's a 5-man team wipe. The entire team is gone, and now the blue team controlling everything here. Now, they have only 2 survivors, so there's a total bloodbath, but they are getting value out of this. Gaslo is dealing with the bottom of the map. We have now 62,000 for Tigers. He's top damage overall. And 62,000 also for Tracer, who has died 2 times so far. Third objective is up. Could technically be taken. And as everybody is starting to slowly come back onto the map, we are of course expecting the next big fight with Tigers picking his big red button now on level 20. Yeah, absolutely shocking. But off we go. Currently we have... This is actually an objective that might hurt a little bit more. Third one is definitely slightly stronger. Tigers is at 6 stacks on his level 4 talent. It's all about the passive, but hey, if you are getting a bit closer to potentially even completing this, why wouldn't you, right? So there's always a chance. Now, everybody is slowly gathering items again. It's all about getting the items for the next big team fight. Objective at the bottom of the map could play a role there too, and who knows, maybe this time the red team feels that they actually need to do something about it. The first one's extremely useless, but as the game continues, those protectors
become a little bit tougher. Now, top side, Falstad, he's the one that can control the side lanes. I talked about this before, but as the global, that's exactly what he will have to do. They need to ensure that they have some vision on the blue team so that he's not all of a sudden being ganked by, let's say, Tracer. But overall, we now have the push at the bottom of the map. They even wanted to go for Brightwing. They just can't get the slide connected, or that would have been an easy solo motion kill. But it's 99% on the progress. And the blue team has now taken also the healing beacon at the top middle. So they lock the next one in. Now, Gust is out. They're getting Leo into a corner. Wind Tunnel has been used, and this should be the end of Leo. He should actually fall here. It's gonna take a hot second, but Leo is gone. So for a short duration, they have a 5 versus 4 now. And with that 5 versus 4, maybe they can go for another structure. The problem that the red team has is that they still weren't able to take a lot of structures out. Protector has been claimed by Brightwing, who just moved in and said like, yep, I take this, thank you. Probably more so to take it away from the opponent. It's still just standing there, and the timer is running slowly out. Nobody is going for it. Instead, they're pinning them down at their base. And yeah, well, they are pinning them down and doing their thing here. We have the Protector running out, but that is a huge amount of damage against the blue team. Mind Control didn't connect, and now that even Tycho's committed to his ult, they should be able to take down the bottom fort fairly easily. That shouldn't pose any problems for them whatsoever. And Entomb, Gust, everything is being thrown out here. Leo is obviously back, and Tychus is doing an enormous amount of damage, but it's the whip of Oriel that gets the kill. Protector is there. Tracer picked it up and joins the fight with it as ETC slides in again. Bouncy Bear is in trouble, gets the shield, the heal, and they're slowly disengaging. Protector is already down to 50% of its HP. 11 kills to 9 overall. And they're going to blow this to pieces now. So yeah, Protector didn't really do too much for them. Well, maybe turn the tides of the battle for a second, but the fort is still falling. So that's 2 forts destroyed. They're not quite on the same level in structures, but they're slowly getting there. Mind Control was out, but also the fist connected, so ETC without any real problems. 8 stacks for Tychus, just a little bit of a side note. And talking Tychus, he's now on 82,000 damage. So his numbers are really going up here. He's getting some big connects, and now that they push the opponent back, they're also making a play for the next item. Noteworthy as well that we have only 2 heroes in this game that haven't died yet. Both of them on the blue team side. We have, right now, Muradin and Sylvanas, who have not died yet. Now, all the way up the top, Catapults are doing some work. So this needs to be dealt with. Falstad or Gazlo need to make a very quick move towards the top. We don't want to take any keep damage now. But the blue... Stormbolt missing again. It's kind of unfortunate for them. Nice gust into the corner. Oof. That would have been a great kill. But now they use 2 of their big cooldowns. And Sylvanas didn't die. She was able to jump out on the wave. But if she gets hit by the Gravo and then the stun, she's toast. And that would be amazing for the red team. Mind Control on ETC. Oh, he gets a heal. Aegis not used yet. They're trying to go for the point and crowd it out. And they get the item. Healing Beacon goes to Sometimes You Win. It is an insanely close game now. I mean, it really is. We are 22 minutes into the game. And still no clue who's going to take this here. Small lead for the KD Agents, for sure. But one team fight can change it all. They go for Leo, he's slow, there's a slide, and he's gone again. Leoki is gone, and that is the 6th death of the side laner. Died 6 times already. Right wing is continuously trying on the side lane to push them out and get catapults a bit closer. And the keep in the middle is getting attacked. Right wing is trying to push those catapults towards the core. But over here, Mirror is in trouble. Gets gusted again. Brightwing jumped in and dies immediately. Brightwing down, it's a 5 versus 3. 5 versus 3. Somebody might have to go back. Falstad, honestly, if they don't go for the core directly, he needs to Hearth, kill the catapults, and then fly back in with a Z. But they're trying to end the game here. They don't care about the catapults. Tracer, on the other hand, is trying to go for the opponent's core. It could come down to a race here. They're trying to take this one on. They should have dealt with the catapults, honestly. But 23 minutes in, the blue team squad is already taking a little bit of damage. There's the mosh pit. Great mosh. Fantastic mosh. 1 kill, 2 easy hits. Down here, the catapults are moving in. Tracer needs some assistance, but the core is falling faster. On the left side, blue team is losing their core too quickly. The red team is losing the shield, but the catapults are not strong enough just yet. And sometimes you win takes the lead in this series. GG and well played. Infernal Shrines. So, game number 4, match point for the red team. We've been here before. Somebody dropped actually out of the lobby and now they're having to redo it. We didn't really get all that far into the draft, so I think the first few picks are going to be a little bit quick, but that's already about it and the rest is just going to play out. But while we're doing this, again, I want to give a shout out to all of the people supporting the stream on Patreon. I also want to welcome the newest member of the Patreon family, Seth, who just started to support the stream and the channel just recently. Guys, if you are thinking about doing the same, you can check out patreon.com/Khaldor. There is a link in the description if you're watching the YouTube video right now. The coverage that we've done over the last 6-7 years to try and keep esports alive wouldn't have been possible without people supporting the channel there. And it's very appreciated, all the people that have done it in the past. And if you want to help out, if you're thinking about it, this is still the best way to support the channel. And again, a lot of this is being used to just make sure that we can keep HOTS esports alive. Blizzard abandoned those efforts a long time ago. We are still trying to go strong with that. So if you are thinking about supporting it, then check it out there. Link is either in the description of the YouTube video or you can see it right here. And once again, welcome Seth, who just has recently started to support the stream. So big thank you to you. Really appreciate it. They actually switched things a bit up, by the way. So now that I'm looking at this, I'm not sure if they just misclicked. I think they just misclicked because the last time when they restarted, they had, instead of Junkrat, Alexstrasza. Now we have Maiev taken, and oh, I like what we're getting from the blue team. I like that a lot, and this could spell trouble for their opponents. We have Stukov, Varian for Taunt into a Lurking Arm, and even Maiev to tether the target back into the Lurking Arm. That is a really nice start here. If you now combine that with even Jaina, you could do a lot. They're banning out D.Va. Not really sure if I would be worried about this. There's still Kerrigan around if you're really going for a bigger stun combo. Cho'Gall gets now banned, which would have been a pretty neat pick actually for Sometimes You Win, and the hero was banned out several times against them in the past. So I am very, very curious how the draft for the blue team, or sorry, for the red team is now coming together, and also what the damage dealer is going to be for their opponents, because the variant comp needs some burst. Jojo and Whitemane, they really need to play around that killer comp. So let's see if they can actually do that. Last 2 picks for the KD agents. If they don't win here, they drop into the losers bracket. If they can force map 5, fantastic. But they definitely got to step it up here. It's an awesome series. This is a really, really good one. And the final 2 picks are Deathwing and Zagara. I'm not so sure about that. Can those 2 really dish out the damage that you need after you activated your Taunt and Lurking Arm? I was looking for a mage with a bit of burst, to be honest with you. Not saying that Zagara can't also pack a punch if played properly, but still, I am missing a little bit more oomph and instant damage after a stun comp gets executed, so not so sure. Nazeebo on the side of their opponents. Infernal Shrines, everybody. It's map number 4, match point number 1 for Sometimes You Win. Game number 4, KD Agents on the left with Simply on Varian. This will be an interesting game. I'm really a bit torn on the choices that they made on the last 2 picks. Kradodel is playing Deathwing. We got Megiblitz on Stukov, Kani on Zagara, and White Tiger is playing Maiev. The first 3 picks that they had in the draft were absolutely fantastic, and then afterwards I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I'm not so sure. So we have Snowbee now on a Zebo going straight into a Toad build for the red team. Haidunio on Junkrat, Parapon on Sonya, Kensei on Whitemane, and Bouncy Bear with Johanna. Okay, let's go. And let's see if
we will get a 5th map out of this series of the KD Agents. Have to drop down into the lower bracket to try and continue the tournament run there. I mean, for now, just playing around Mayep, of course. Deathwing is already getting aggressive. I really, by the way, like this skin. I know it's a little bit boring, but like that whole black dragon, you know, is awesome. And just from a lore perspective, black dragon's always fantastic. Not saying that the Jade skin doesn't look great and some of those tints are just glorious, but a simple black dragon every now and then is incredible. So yeah, nice one. I like it. It's fantastic in its simplicity, I gotta say. So, top side. Varian is now side laning. I mean, just please, please, please tell me we're not getting something totally insane where Deathwing is acting as the main tank and Varian decides that Twin Blades is a fantastic choice. I don't think that they are going to pull this off in this game, so I believe in them. But yeah. I mean, either way, over on the left, the first camps have now spawned, and the teams are, of course, immediately making a couple of plays for it. But I'm just looking at that Varian at the top lane going up against Sonya, and I'm like, ooh, this could be a little bit tricky. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. Deathwing should be on that lane, and he just isn't. So, yeah. But then we now see Nazeebo slowly getting his stacks on the baseline up. So he's currently working on that one hit at a time. And while that plays out, still no first blood in the game. Taunt is in, thank God. So Varian has been teasing me a little bit over here and scared me. But it's all good. No stacks yet for Pandemic. Didn't really have a lot of brawls. So nothing that Nazeebo currently has that would help him here. I mean, he's going to complete this eventually, especially when the Shrine fights start. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to get some hits in. Zagara goes on level 4 into the Envenom Spines. Great for the push, but I still want the blue team to prove to me that they are able to do a whole lot here with the killer comp. Because yeah, I'm still not sure on this. I mean, either way, time will tell. They have level 4 now. They can technically start to do the combo at this point. So far, we haven't really seen any of that happen, but we will soon enough. So now the first objective is slowly popping up, which means that we are in the middle of the map fighting for an Arcane Punisher this time. Level 7 talents should be ready for the two teams fairly soon. The red team is actually very diligent about getting the experience here, but that also means that they gave up the position on the shrine for a long time. So that's the next issue. But as it stands right now, Nazeebo can finally get himself a couple of stacks for his level 1 if he connects a few of the toads. Might have to go in a little bit deeper. And yeah, with that, we now have 26 to 4 stacks. I mean, it really seems like they're not worrying about the first Punisher too much, which they shouldn't. Zagara fully lost here. Fully lost. Needs Google Maps because she lost her way. There's a lot of creep tumors at the bottom of the map that somebody has to take out soon. That's Jojo could definitely do that. Sonya can spin around a bit, so that would be a nice one. But it's first blood for the team in red. So yeah, good for them. They're able to get first blood here, so that's kind of nice. And now, with that, then of course also the next question, like what exactly can Nazeebo do in the late stage of the game? 83 stacks is already a great start for him. So with that, we're more or less guaranteed to have Nazeebo hit his Vital Infection if they make it to 20. In the middle, still a little bit of pressure. So now that the Punisher has been taken, they need to try and do as much damage as they can. The bait over the wall is quick, and that defense is actually strong. So sometimes you win. They gave up on the Punisher, they didn't even fight for it, and they just said, we can defend against this easily, and so far they've been proven right. They have barely lost anything here. You can make something like this happen on the first objective, but you're not going to be able to do that later on. So, yeah. Once that we're hitting Punisher number 2 and 3, you really want to start fighting for those slowly. So, yeah. I mean, again, I'm going to keep an eye a bit on that, but I would assume that then they're going to make their play here.
The camp not taken. They actually have to fight for this. Junkrat is down. Big lurking arm from Stukov. And that's a camp stolen and a kill for the blue team. Nicely done. That was well played. That was a really nice move for them right now. They were able to get themselves also ahead in experience, which now, of course, directly translates into them grabbing level 10 and pushing for the fort at the bottom of the map. The disc connects with Whitemane, which is also great, but she's able to get away. Not sure why, though. Varian had Taunt. Seems like they didn't want to fight behind the fort, which they could have definitely done since they have heroic abilities. They still had some that were available. So there was a chance to make those moves, and they decided not to. Now, Leap comes in. All the level 10 abilities are now ready on the side of Sometimes You Win. The big danger, of course, is that the blue team is not going to be able to do enough early enough. Because, again, 20 and Nazeebo is troublesome. Zagara is low, and she gets killed as the fight centers around the maw on Sonya. They're even trying to get Varian now. Not able to really pull that off. Big damage still, though, and actually they might get him, and they do. Big ult from Nazeebo, and they take Varian out. Sonya is able to move back out of the fight without falling to the combined pressure of towers, fort, and heroes. So the KD agents are now down in kills, and this is where it gets scary. This is where it actually gets really scary, because Sometimes You Win is already taken elite in all of this without even playing around Nazeebo's strength in the late game. So if already at this point you're starting to have trouble, it's going to get worse later on. Objectives will be really important for the KD agents. They don't have enough kills. They have... Again, I don't like that they went Zagara Deathwing on the last two picks. If you're going for Maiev, Varian, and Stukov, you're looking for kills. You're looking for big kills, big damage, and they just don't have the follow-up on those. They can still get some kills with it, but not nearly as many as they need to lock in. Technically, every time the combo gets unleashed, there should be somebody dying or barely being saved, and that's just not happening right now. So Zagara is trying to push the side lane. Sonya is reacting nicely and doing work. But, yeah, it is... I mean, it's quite the game here right now. The blue team is under pressure. It doesn't really look like it when you're just simply looking at the stats, but just from a game perspective and how this is going to evolve as things continue, they are pressured here. And right now, it's a Frozen Punisher. Seems like for some reason the red team is still totally willing to simply let this go. At some point, they will have to fight back at least a little bit. You can't just simply give over objective after objective to your opponent. First one, fair. But after that, it's getting a bit tricky. Now down here, can they fight for that point? I don't think they can. Jojo is trying. Leap straight into the lurking arm. That's the end of Sonya. And they're losing Johanna too. That's pretty rough. At least they get a counter kill on Maiev. But losing those two and losing the objective at the same time, that's something that shouldn't really happen. So that's a bit tricky. I am not really a fan of what happened there. That's definitely dicey. So, yeah. You can lose the objective if at least you're taking a couple of camps on the map and maybe you do some damage to some of the walls. But losing heroes and then the objective at the same time, which also limits the tools that you have at your disposal for defense, that's another story. So, right now, yeah, it's actually getting a bit harder for them. But look at the stacks that Nazeebo gets. This is really the scary part. We are currently at level 13 and Nazeebo is essentially done. He's essentially done already, which is just scary as hell. But the bottom fort has now fallen. The top fort has taken a significant amount of damage. And yeah, while the blue team is just trying to control the map a bit further. They're making plays for all of the camps that they can possibly claim. And they're of course trying to just get momentum going, because at the end of the day, this is the story here. They need to make sure that they're going to be the team that gains momentum, takes some keeps down on Nazeebo, is likely going to ruffle stomp them later on. I'm really curious how this plays out, and I'm still worried heavily for them. So, 17,000 damage for Junkrat. It's not really a fight-heavy game. Because sometimes you win just gave up 2 objectives. They didn't even fight for them. They were like, nope, not interested. We don't care. Now they're half a level behind, which already worries me a bit. But they also get a hit here against Simply. And even with the lurking arm, nope, that's the end of him. And it's also likely going to be the end of Maiev. Ah, she gets away. Nice. Still at the cooldown here. There's a leap on the other hand. And now Stukov is on the chopping block. And he goes down. Maiev is a bit low. Ooh, but Sonya. Girl's getting aggressive. But she made it out. So they're getting 2 kills out of that situation. That catches them up in experience. And now, of course, 16 talents are ready. Nezebo is at 186 stacks as is. And he's just... Nezebo is just running from lane to lane going for stacks. The entire strategy of Sometimes You Win is avoid the fights, let Nezebo do his thing, and we're going for the late game, boys. That's all that they're doing here. I mean, look at his stack amount. We are 11 minutes in and he's sitting at 200 stacks. He's been allowed to roam between the lanes the entire time. The blue team hasn't shut it down. They haven't gone for enough kills. So Nezebo is just running from one minion wave to the next and dropping his stuff. He's not even near, I mean, he's not close to being done with his level 1 quest. Because he just doesn't care. He didn't commit to any fights. Third objective, I want to know if the red team finally says, okay, this is where we're going to start a fight. Is this where they are finally saying, well, we need to do something. We can't just let every single one of them go. Or do they ignore that too? That's obviously the next big question here. This is getting a bit nasty. 17, both sides, 6 kills to 4. And the third objective is coming up. So... what's the move? Are they actually going to try? Or do they just simply let this go as well? This one travels through the bot lane. There's a keep on that bot lane. That fort is gone. And they just go for the next camp. Sometimes you win. They just don't give a shit. They're just sitting here and they're like, we're not interested. You want a Punisher? You can take the Punisher. It's okay. You go for it. They are sacrificing so much here. It's... crazy. It's honestly crazy. They're just gonna sacrifice. Their top fort is gonna fall soon. And right now, they're simply sacrificing the next Punisher. And like, they might even have to sacrifice a keep. But Sonya dies. Sorry. Sonya kills Zagara. Zagara dies. So they're actually winning this fight again. And at the top, there's a camp pushing for... they're taking another kill here, aren't they? White Tiger. Oh, he just barely gets out. Same true for Deathwing. But at the top, there's a fort that is now taking damage because the camp is still pushing. So somehow, they got their Zagara kill. And now they are the ones moving in for the shrine again. And they just don't even attempt to take it. They have Sonya at the top. And they're saying, well, easy fort, free fort, let's go. We're going to get the fort. But besides that, we're just not going to go for the objective. The longer that objective is there, the better. So the blue team re-engages onto the shrine. And is going to take the Punisher after all. Maybe there's a secret bet going on where they said, hey, we can win this without ever going for the objective. Maybe that's the play. The Tricky King thing, of course, is now also that we have at the bottom of the map a big objective coming through. But a level 19 on the horizon for Sometimes You Win. And they're not even pushing with this. They're not even pushing with it. And what is Varian doing? Honestly, at this point, I'm thinking if I'm disconnected from the game and it's just bots running it down. What was that? Varian is running it down mid. That's the only thing that just happened here. What was Simply doing there? All alone with the Punisher. Where was the rest of the team? Now they lost the Punisher. It did nothing. Nothing. And they lost Varian too. It's half a level until 20. I mean, Varian is clearly paid. Somebody should check his PayPal account because I think there was a big donation by the red team just recently. I have no idea what's going on. They're falling apart here. That Punisher was just an oversized minion and that's it. That was free experience. Nezebo is at 250 stacks essentially. And now they have level 20. Just wait for it to not pick Violent Infection. Nah, he takes it. So yeah. They have Violent Infection now. Thank God. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy what's going on here. And now, of course, Nazeebo can start pushing. They're going for the fort in the mid lane. And, yep, that one is gone immediately. Stuka falls, Maiev falls. Here comes that powerhouse that is Nazeebo. He's at 25,000 damage. And we're just going to check that in a bit later. But, yeah, he is going to spiral all of this out of control for the red team. I think this might just be the end of the winner bracket final. Honestly, the KD agents, they needed to play this a bit differently. It started in the draft. The last 2 picks, I talked about it ad nauseum. They were just not catering to the composition that they're trying to play here. It was absolutely not in line with the rest of the draft, and that is coming back to bite them now. And then they let Nazeebo do his thing. They never really pushed with the objectives the way that they needed to, and now they're losing everything here. This is an easy play for keep. The core is wide open. 3 heroes are still dead. Nazeebo is saying, thank you very much. I'm going to take this from here on out. They're trying again to go for Variant, but the core is losing its hit points. The first few are falling. And the red team, you know, they're just falling back. They're just like, you know what, guys? Let's make sure that we're not screwing this up now. We're falling back. They're all low, so they made the call. They don't want to YOLO this too hard. And they just retreated. Took a camp on the way back. Another objective is coming up soon. It's all about getting some hit points and mana back. Core's on 90%. At least they have now level 20. But the blue team will need to pull out some top tier plays if they want to turn that game around. Because this is the hard part now. Easy time is over. So now we have 38,000 damage on Zagara. 37,000 on... Oh, the tactical pause! Look at that! Hi, Dunio, with a tactical pause over here. Honestly, I think that what's happening at this point is that he's just lagging a bit. They had already earlier a disconnect in earlier in the lobby, so it might be his internet. As I said earlier, when we had the first game playing out, he's actually Polish. And some of the Polish boys, they had trouble with their internet lately. So I hope that it's not that. And if so, then just a bit of a ping problem. But the timing, of course, just around the shrine. Everybody is going to check now what they can do on the next shrine over here. Zagara is still sitting in the middle. Kanye is going to push this out a bit to make sure that the catapult is not getting too close to the core while the fight at the top plays out. We're 17 minutes in. And the one thing to highlight is that 17 minutes in, Nazeebo is at 260 stack. So just think about how much additional health and mana he has at this point. It's just bonkers. And then on top of that, you have Big Voodoo, of course, which increases it even further. So it's not going to take much longer for them to have Nazeebo as the main tank in the team composition that just rips everything to shreds here. Now Zagara with a level 16 and 20 talent, she has now Pack Instinct and she's also on the Corrosive Saliva. She can definitely get some pretty big damage out as well. But unless they're now going towards the top and get a big hit in on the Shrine, win a huge team fight, and then snowball this hard, it's going to be so tough for them. And it's getting harder the longer this lasts. Part of me just waits for the red team to get some camps, send a few of their heroes through the top lane in vision, and then just beeline towards the middle and try and go straight up through the lane here for the core. I would not put that past them. With Nazeebo, you could make that move. So they have been avoiding teamfights the entire game. They've gotten kills, but they haven't really gone for any 5v5 battles that was straight up and fair. So I would not be shocked if they now decided that they're just going to backdoor this. But right now, yeah, they are apparently playing for the first objective. Now on level 20, they are happy to do so. So it seems like they are totally willing to make some moves now. Yeah, there comes already the Reptire. Good attack and nearly a kill. Can they get Maiev? Oh, the Blessed Hammer. And that is it. That is the end of Maiev. Maiev is gone, and that's a 5 versus 4, and they can jump onto the shrine. And to make matters even worse, this is in addition to everything else and also a frozen Punisher, so even more troublesome for them. They're sitting back, trying to wait for Maiev to come back. But that's going to be a rude awakening at that top lane. So, yep. This is going to be more than just a little bit tough. That top lane push is coming, and I don't think they can stop it. Maybe they are pulling off a miracle here and somehow do that. Nazeebo has, by the way, not died in this entire game. Nazeebo and Whitemane, the two that have not died yet. But here comes the push. The wall essentially evaporates. Gone within a second. And I think the keep, we're going to see the same here, especially with the Frozen Punisher. Just simply disabling it. Nazeebo is having a lot of fun here. He's getting a few more stacks for his level 1. But it's still amusing to me that he's only at 26 stacks because they never really had to fight a proper fight. So here comes a nice zombie wall against Varian, who's instantly in trouble. Punisher is in. We got Maiev in the back. There comes the leap and the kill. 13 kills. This is just lights out. Stukov is dead. Everybody's dead or dying. Brightwing, not Brightwing, the enlarged fruit fly. Deathwing is getting away, but that's it. That's the end of the road. This is just it. So great job by Sometimes You Win. They move on to the grand final of the tournament. The KD Agents with an admirable performance throughout the series, but they're dropping down into the loser's bracket. They have another chance. Sometimes You Win takes the best of 5 with a 3-1 victory. GG.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.